Yes, I'm your host, Jim Neander, back with you again. It's still Saturday. We already recorded one earlier this morning, a couple hours off, and then back at it here for part two of our Week 6 preview show, talking start sits, injury updates, predictions, outlooks, all that shit and mysticism for Week 6 that you need to set your lineup to get that W, man. So I got teams that are all over the place. I don't know about you. But through 5 weeks, I have no undefeated teams and I have no winless teams, but I've got every fucking thing in between. So, listen, some of these teams I'm cruising, but trying to keep it going. Some of these teams I'm fighting for my life, man. I got one team where I'm starting Kenyon Drake and either Nyheim Hines. Who else am I looking at in there? Or Frank Gore, I think, in that league. So, I don't know, man. That's where I'm at in one of my leagues. Fucking fugly, bro. Fugly, but we got going on here. We already went through the first half of the games on the last episode. Now we got the second half of the games, the night games, both Mondays, all that good stuff. And yeah, you know the deal. Right now we have no new information from this morning about any games being postponed or canceled. We know there was a positive test in Jacksonville and they had to close their facility. Not good. I get it. But right now all the games are still on. All the big players. We don't know anybody that's out right now other than the normal injuries, right? So for that case, we're good right now. We're rolling through the games as if they're all going off without a hitch. So that's that. All right. So listen, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, it's at Jim Neander. That's N-E-A, like Neanderthal. If you're listening to the show and you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see when I put up my name there, so you might not know my name. So yeah, Jim Neander with an N. That's why when I say, the fantasy caveman or the Neanderthal, that's where it comes from. I'm the Neanderthal. So at Jim Neander on Twitter or at GOAT FF Podcast, stands for GOAT Fantasy Football Podcast. At GOAT FF Podcast, go ahead. I'm going to try to be on Twitter a little bit more. Help out. Maybe if you want to hit me up, I'll check. And if I'm getting hit up more, I'll be on there more. Help you out with some starts and sits. See what I can do for you. And then you can hold me accountable. I'm going to tell you who to start, who to sit. Just give you a straight answer. You let me know what kind of format you're playing, who your options are. I'll throw it out there for you. Easy enough. All right, so let's get back in here. We got 7 more games. Let's knock this shit out here. Get ready for enjoy the rest of our Saturday afternoon. We got big baseball games. We got big college football games. Again, you guys know I'm not college football, but yeah, it is UGA and Bama tonight, so I know that's a big deal. I might even watch a little bit of Trevor Lawrence here early in the day just to get my first kind of peek. I haven't been watching that much. I know. Blah, blah, blah. Fucking save it. I don't care. But I'll probably watch a little bit of Trevor Lawrence today just to get a peek at the Jets' new quarterback. Sorry, Jets fans. Actually, I'm not sorry. The best thing for you that can happen right now is that you just start over with this team, right? No offense, Sam Darnold, but Gase, Darnold, everybody blow this shit up and start new with Trevor Lawrence next year. But that's just one man's opinion. All right. First game today, Chicago Bears traveling to Carolina to play the Panthers. Panthers are playing pretty good football. So are the Bears. Different kinds of good football. I feel like the Panthers are playing much better actual football, but the Bears are 4-1. And if you're not playing great football, you're 4-1. You're thrilled with that shit because hey, you're over a quarter through the season. You're working your way towards a playoff spot. There's one extra playoff spot, and you're just making it that much more likely that you're going to make the postseason with this good start. And hopefully you pick it up and start playing some better football. This is a good place to do it here. 2 decent defenses, but I think you're looking for somewhat ugly game. But to tell you the truth, I think there's a number of guys you can play in this game. So in Chicago, it's a little thinner out there as far as who I'm wanting to play. You're going to play David Montgomery because of the workload, right? With Tariq Cohen gone, you thought that was a possible landing spot for Lev Bell. Didn't happen. And, so now Chicago, David Montgomery's got the backfield to himself. They're rolling with Montgomery. That's pretty much it, man. So, I'm sitting Foles. I don't want to play the quarterback yet. There's no reason to. Definitely playing David Montgomery. definitely playing Allen Robinson. You know that. There's no reason not to play A-Rob. Past that, everything else is kind of a dart throw. Anthony Miller, Darnell Mooney, these guys look good, week to week, and then they disappear. I'm not playing those guys. Jimmy Graham, listen, make whatever jokes you want to make. I made them all throughout the offseason. I know. I thought it was gross. At the end of the day, not only are they looking for him, in high value situations, he's coming through in those situations. And that you can't really say anything else than that. I don't care. Like even when Antonio Gates came out of retirement, a couple of years ago, whatever it was, he was still making some things happen. When Tony Gonzalez, kept coming back, for one more year, he was still making plays. And Jimmy Graham is making plays. And if they're going to give him opportunities, and he's going to continue to make plays, then I'm going to want to put him in my lineup. So because you didn't have to draft Jimmy Graham, he very well may be on your bench, and you may have a better option. You might be the Mark Andrews owner, and you grabbed a second tight end just cause, whether it's trade bait or whatever. But point is, for most people, Jimmy Graham's going to be in your lineup this week. That's no two ways about it. So let's stop. I think right now, week 5 is the time we can stop, or week 6, we can stop joking around and busting his balls, right? And when we start saying, yeah, put Jimmy Graham in your lineup. I'm going to say that. He's going to have 1 target for 0 yards. But, I think you want to play him. All right, in Carolina, I definitely wanted to play Teddy Bridgewater last week. We know the matchup was good. He came through. I'm going to hold off on Bridgewater this week. It's not that I'm scared of the matchup so much. I think they're going to run the ball a good amount. I just don't love the matchup, and there's just other streamers that I prefer, and that's just what it comes down to. I think there's other guys you can play that are better options that are probably out there. So I'm going to steer you away from Teddy Bridgewater this week. Mike Davis, enjoy the next week or two, because obviously when McCaffrey comes back, you're really not going to be able to play him anymore. But there's no reason to think he's not going to be a big part of the offense again this week, both on the ground and through the air. His target share has been crazy. I mean, he's catching so many passes. You'd think he is freaking Christian McCaffrey. So if you're a McCaffrey owner, obviously you're thrilled about that. You feel like, hey, I'm watching all these targets go to the running back position, and that's making you feel good about it, right? I mean, the guy's getting targeted like crazy. 8, 9, 6, and 10 targets in those last 4 games, man. 8, 9, 6, and 10 targets. So, Mike Davis is killing it. The rushing yards haven't been great. Touchdowns aren't really there. But in PPR formats or half PPR, man, you just cannot, dismiss those numbers. So, you're absolutely going to be playing Mike Davis this week. On the outside, let's start with the number 1. You're playing Robbie Anderson, right? That's how we have to talk about it from now on. Robbie Anderson is the number 1 option in this offense for the time being. And you want to play him. And again, a guy that's getting 8 plus targets every week, no reason not to have him in your lineup. The much bigger question is DJ Moore, and are you going to play him? And I think you have to play him. It's all about your options, right? You're all about your team. You could be, egregiously stacked at wide receiver and have 3 or 4, better options than DJ Moore, and that's fine. That's great for you. But truthfully, I think you're going to have DJ Moore in your lineup this week. I think it's going to be a fine game for him. Not expecting wide receiver 1 numbers out of him at all anymore. But if you're looking at him as a high-end wide receiver 2 upside kind of guy with a really high floor, then I think you're looking at DJ Moore the right way. And you're going to have him in your lineup as a wide receiver 3, and basically every week, or a flex, with that good upside. Maybe not elite upside, but that really good upside and a really high floor. This week I want to have DJ Moore in there, as well as Robbie Anderson. I know it sounds weird. I think Davis is going to catch a lot of passes. I like Robbie Anderson. I like DJ Moore. But I don't love Teddy Bridgewater. Maybe he doesn't really add up, but that's kind of the way I'm seeing it. Just those 3 guys. So, play those guys in that game. But, just beware. This could be a slodgy kind of slow, beat 'em up kind of game where everybody slows the game down. So, could be that way, but I'm going to have some guys out there in this game. What is with this slate, man? I don't know. I don't remember. Maybe because they're all in a row. I don't remember this many fugly games in a row. But we got the Detroit Lions traveling to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Lions and Jaguars. 1-3 Detroit, 1-4 Jacksonville. And who are we going to play? So they're both pretty bad defenses, right? I mean, over/under is 54.5. So the fact is, while you may not want to love this game, there's probably going to be a lot of points in this game. That's what they're saying, right? In Detroit, yeah, the matchup's good here. Play Stafford if you got him, right? Why not? He's got all his weapons. Marvin Jones out. I think he's been doing shit all year anyway. AP is back at practice. He had an illness. All right. Yeah, so, I mean, those guys look fine. So, yeah, I've been playing Matt Stafford this week, hoping that the matchup, helps him, get it going. Has a big week this week. I know Adrian Peterson will be fine. And the way running backs are, listen, like I said, in the league where I have Naeem Hines playing and I'm thinking about Frank Gore, if Peterson was out there, I can't even lie, I'd probably be playing Adrian Peterson. So, the fact is, it's just going to be 60 or 75 yards with very little or no work out of the backfield from passing, maybe a couple of attempts, a couple of targets, and you're hoping he gets into the end zone, right? If he gets in the end zone, the week will be fine. If he doesn't, you'll get some points, and you won't be goosed. You'll be okay with that. But, that's where we are running back right now. It's pretty ugly. So, yeah, it's pretty ugly, man. Kenny Golladay got to be in your lineup, looking good, coming back. And then, Marvin Jones, it's all about, how much boom potential you need in your lineup this week. Because the odds are, right, you're not going to get a lot out of Marvin Jones. Hasn't done really shit all year. And then that means that the game where you don't play him, of course, he's going to have his monster game on the season. But certainly hasn't happened to this point. The production's really not there. The targets have gone down every game, right? He had 8 targets in week 1, then 6, then 3, then 2. So, I mean, everything about it is just, going in the wrong direction, which makes me not want to play him, which makes it, almost inevitable that he's going to blow up this week. But I got to recommend against Marvin Jones. And then T.J. Hawkinson, man, he's also been a little bit hard to predict. I know they've, had the 1 game off, so he probably would be in the top 12 in points per game. 5 targets, 4 targets, 7 targets, 4 targets. This last game, though, those 4 targets were, 2 for 9 yards and that touchdown. So thankfully you got that touchdown on the goal line. But you're a little concerned. You're probably sweating if you're playing T.J. Hawkinson this week. I totally get that. Hard for me to recommend to not play him. It's all about your other options. But, I don't want to play T.J. Hawkinson. Put it that way. I don't want to play him. Jacksonville. Where does Minshew fall for me? He's like a middle road streamer for me this week. I know they're at home. Let's look at the DJ Chark thing. I don't know what's going on with Chark. Questionable. I don't know. I mean, if Chark is not in the game, I probably don't want to play Gardner Minshew. Let's just put it that way. If Chark does play, I still don't know if I want to play Gardner Minshew, but I would play Gardner Minshew. Still probably not over Kirk Cousins. So if that's if those are your options, I'd still probably have it as Tannehill, Cousins, Minshew in that order for streamers. So that's if Chark plays. So yeah, James Robinson, get him in your lineup. Hopefully he's going to have a big week this week for James Robinson, lots of usage, and hopefully a touchdown, maybe more. But I think it's going to be a big week for James Robinson. Make sure you keep him in your lineup after kind of an okay game last week. And then on the outside, I mean, all right, let's talk about both scenarios, right? If Chark plays, I don't know who I would play, in this offense. I think that it just kind of spreads it out enough that I wouldn't be thrilled playing anybody. Chark owners will probably be, wanting to play him, and I totally get that because they've been playing a little bit better together. But, I don't know that I would play any wide receivers if DJ Chark plays. Any of the Jacksonville wide receivers at this point if Chark plays. Now, if Chark doesn't play, then I would absolutely have Laviska Shenault in my lineup 100%. Just the amount of volume that could be available extra. He's already been getting a lot more involved the last couple of weeks. And then if they're missing Chark, I just think that gives a big opportunity for him to step in and get, have a 10-plus target kind of a game. And that could be huge for him, excuse me. Yeah, and that's really it for me. I'm not playing Chris Conley, I'm not playing any other guys that are on Jacksonville, right? I know there's somebody I'm missing. that I can't think of, but I wouldn't be playing that person either. Keelan Cole. Shit. It took me like 10 minutes to remember Keelan Cole's fucking name. But yeah, I wouldn't be playing him either, no matter what happens with Chark. So, and then tight end, same thing. You know, Tyler Eifert's questionable, but no matter what happens, I wouldn't be playing a Jacksonville tight end. So, what I'd just be doing is moving on from Jacksonville and saying, hey, there's some guys that play in that game. You know, so for Jacksonville, I'm playing James Robinson. And if DJ Chark is out, I'm playing Laviska Shenault. DJ Chark is in. I'd prefer not to play any, pass catching options for the Jaguars this week because it's going to be spread out too much. But I guess if Chark is in, you can take your shot at Chark and or Laviska Shenault. You know, if you pick the one that gets the touchdown, because one of them probably will, then you'll be fine. So, all right, let's roll on here. We don't have much going on at 4 o'clock, man. It's going to be plenty of time to watch Brady here at 4 o'clock because we got 2 4 o'clock games. At 4:05, you got the Jets and the Dolphins. And at 4:25, you got the Packers and the Bucks. So, I don't know. You tell me which game you're going to have on the TV. Hopefully, I don't know what your situation would be. I don't know what they're doing with national television. But if you're anywhere in the world or country where you only can watch the Dolphins and Jets game and you cannot see the Buccaneers and Packers, go somewhere else. Get DirecTV that day. Go online. Buy a computer. I don't care what you do. Go to the bar. Go anywhere. But please, unless you're the most diehardest of Jets and Dolphins fans, watch that game over Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady at 4:25. But because the way it looks on my screen, we're going to start with the Jets and the Dolphins. All right. Over under here, 47. Miami giving 9.5 fucking points. When's the last time you think Miami was a 9.5 point favorite? I mean, I would love to know that. That is a great question for this week. Last time the Dolphins were a 9.5 point. That's got to be fucking Dan Marino, right? When was the last time Miami was good enough to be a 9.5 point favorite over anybody? Or when was the last time anybody else was so bad? I mean, maybe in the Tannehill years, somebody was like awful. I don't know. Man. You tell me. That's a good question. If everybody knows the last time they were 9.5 point favorites, you let me know. What about the Jets here? Who we got? Brashad Perryman is questionable. Sam Darnold, he's not going to play. It'll be Flacco. All right, so, not going to play Flacco here. Good matchup, decent matchup on the road, whatever. Not playing Flacco. He's well behind these other guys in my streaming recommendations. So, there you go. The running backs, like I said, listen, if you're fucking desperate, you can play Frank Gore. Expect 15 carries and 2 or 3 targets and, pray for a touchdown, right? Pray if you got to play Frank Gore. But it's not a bad play. It's just a super limited ceiling. You know that. Very limited, almost no ceiling with Frank Gore. But decent floor. You need your 7-8 plus points, and you got no other options, man, like I do. Like I said, I'm looking at guys like Nyheim Hines, Frank Gore. So who's behind Frank Gore? It's LaMichael Perine, right? Hasn't got a lot of play. They've been kind of talking him up a little bit, but, you can't expect him to get more work than they showed so far. So you can't move forward with him. I do have him rostered in that same league, where I'm kind of forced into playing Frank Gore, but I haven't heard anything all week long, out of their practices that, Michael Perine is taking, first team reps. He looks great. Expect a 50-50 split. Nothing. No fucking coach speak. And not that I, trust Adam Gase coach speak. And that's the other thing. The right thing to do is to play Perine because he's a young guy. You're already in shit, right? You're 0-5. Your season's over. Your fucking career's probably over. So as a head coach, hopefully. And why wouldn't you play your young guy? I think you draft him in the 3rd round, maybe. See what he's got. See if he's got some juice. We know what Gore is. We know what he's got. But I don't know if you can trust him to do that. He's going to try to stay in this game and see if they can keep it close. So, yeah, fuck you. And you're definitely playing Jameson Crowder. Crowder's been a stud, no matter who's quarterback right now. Last week I was worried about it. I was like, I don't know. You got, Joe Flacco. I don't know if he's going to target him the same way. No, he was still out there kicking ass. So yeah, you play Jameson Crowder, and you don't play anybody else. That's it. No matter who's healthy, no matter who's not healthy, you don't play Chris Herndon. You don't play Perriman if he's in. You don't play Mims if he's in. None of those guys. You don't play anybody else. So if you got to play Gore, you fucking plug your nose and you do it. Throw Jameson Crowder in there. He's playing great. He's playing lights out, and that's it. Chris Herndon, fuck all that. I don't know what to do either. It's unfortunate, right? The talent's there. I think we all know the talent's there, but what are you gonna do? All right, let's talk about the Dolphins here. One of the few games where you're like, yeah, line up your fucking Dolphins, get them out there. Fitzpatrick, get him out there. Myles Gaskin, get him out there. Devontae Parker and Preston Wilson. Preston Williams, damn it, Mr. Williams. Preston Williams, get him out there. Get them all out there. And Gesicki. Fuck it. Why wouldn't you have every one of your Dolphins out there in this week, right? No reason not to. I guess the biggest question mark is Preston Williams, right? Because he's had a couple of good weeks, but, do you trust it? Yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I'm all right with it. I'm definitely all right with it. Let's look at the targets here the last couple of weeks, just so I can get a little better deal. All right, Preston Williams, where are you at here? Who-wee. 7.5235. So, target's been a little bit up and down, but last week, first big game there, caught 4 balls, 106 yards, a touchdown. Remember, he had that ACL tear last year, so pretty much almost a year from then right now. Without preseason, maybe he's just getting back into it. Who knows? Either way, I'm willing to play him against a bad Jets team. Same with Gesicki. Roll him out there. He's had some up and down weeks, and that's fine. But it's a good matchup here. Everything against the Jets is a good matchup. So, yeah, play Gesicki. Go ahead, roll him out there. Let's talk about this much better game here. I'm much more interested in this game here. We can talk about the Green Bay Packers 4-0, traveling to Tampa Bay, take on the 3-2 Buccaneers. Bigger story within the story. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I think I heard it's their third meeting, maybe their fourth, something like that. They haven't played many times. That makes sense, right? Spent their entire careers, in different conferences. Doesn't happen that many times. Maybe there was one injury. I don't know how many times they were scheduled against each other. Who knows? Either way, we haven't seen this many times, and they're both playing well. Thankfully, got most of our weapons back in this game for both of our quarterbacks here. That's why, as an NFL fan, right? Not only as a fantasy fan, as an NFL fan, that's what I want to see. I want these guys to have their weapons available to them. So for Aaron Rodgers, that, of course, is Devontae Adams. He's back this week, absolutely healthy, ready to rock, ready to go. I wish they had Lazard too, just to see everybody with full weapons go. But what can you do? At least Adams is back. For Brady, that means we have a healthy Chris Godwin, a healthy Mike Evans, healthy receiving options out there for him too. So let's get this going here. Over under a 55. Green Bay giving one on the road here. Pretty surprising here. So what's that? 28-27. They're talking 3-4 touchdowns for each team here. So I want to get my defensive stats up here. Get a little better look at where these guys are rolling. So let's go here. Yards per game. I want to take a little minute to break this down. The Buccaneers are the second best team, giving up the second least amount of yards per game. The 8th least points per game, right? The absolute least rushing yards per game, right? 58.4. That is like nothing. They're giving like no rushing yards. And let's see. Yeah, they're all right. So they're middle of the pack in passing yards, right? But that's amazing considering you're giving up no rushing yards, right? I mean, so that's pretty amazing here. So we know the strength. Green Bay, man. Aaron Jones, the play action, run and play action against the Bucs. They're gonna dare you, to throw the ball, right? Well, let's find the Packers here. Packers are 12th in yards per game. Not too bad. They're kind of a bend, not break defense here. Yeah, 17th in points. All right, let's look at the rushing. 8th in rushing. And, all right, 19th in passing. So, seems like that's where they're a little bit more vulnerable, both of them. They both seem to be a little bit better in rushing defense and in passing. So, Aaron Rodgers, I know people are like, it's not the greatest matchup. He's playing lights out. He's playing lights out. He's getting Devontae Adams back against a team that's number one against the run, right? in a high pressure, big time, game against Tom Brady. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to come out here and have a fucking game, right? So he's a gamer. He's going to have a game. Aaron Jones, you're playing him. Like I just said, you're playing against the best team in the league against the run, but you have one of the best running backs and one of the most effective pass catching running backs in the game. And that makes all the fucking difference here, right? I mean, even if you were thinking like, I'm going to get cute and fucking, I'm going to play the matchup here. I'm going to sit Aaron Jones because, I'm going to play fucking, Matt Breida because I saw some one metric. No. Play Aaron Jones. All right? Stop fucking around here. I know it's a tough matchup, but he's going to be in your lineup. And then, Devontae Adams obviously is in your lineup. No reason to think that he's not. But let's move past that. There's actually other guys you have to think about here. MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think it's a bump up from the return of Devontae Adams. It might go against what you think the logic is, that, if you don't have your number one receiver, then there's all these other extra targets to go around. No, there's two things to think about here. One, the defense has to focus on Devontae Adams. So there's no Devontae Adams. There's nobody to really focus on outside of Aaron Jones, right? You saw that because, Robert Tonyan was able to, go off. We'll talk about him in a second here. But MVS, I think, is a guy that should be considered a wide receiver 3 flex option this week with definite wide receiver 2 upside. He could be this kind of week where Adams is back and they're really going to focus on him and try to take him away. And then you're going to have a pretty big game out of MVS. Absolutely could happen. I'm trying to remember his name right now. There is Carlton Davis, the cornerback for Tampa Bay. Looks like he might be missing this game here. And if Carlton Davis misses this game, that only helps the passing attack for the Packers here. So, so I want to play Devontae Adams. I want to play MVS. And, I want to play Robert Tonyan. I know. He did it all with Adams out on the field, right? But one thing that we've seen from Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, in his career is that, when he trusts you, when he gains that little bit of trust and that connection, he really presses it until something stops it, right? We saw it with Lazard, right? He came in for one game and, he was targeting him all the time. Then Rodgers came out to the media and he's like, this guy's amazing. I love this guy. I want him, blah, 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 And he's done it in the past, too, where guys have come in and been uber targeted, for short amounts of time. And whether it's because of injury or, whatever, the offseason or trades, he becomes, a lesser target for Rodgers. But we've seen this happen before, and I'm expecting Tonyan to be a tight end 1 this week. So, again, it's another guy just like Jimmy Graham. Because you didn't draft him, maybe you were just greedy and you grabbed him on the tight end waiver wire just to keep him from somebody else. So, I'm not playing him over, the top maybe 5 or 6 guys. But other than that, I'm going to play him. So, all right. I definitely think you can play him, put it that way. And let's talk about Tampa Bay in their matchups. I think you want to play Tom Brady. I know, it's been a little bit up and down, of course, but now he's got his weapons back again. I think he's going to need to score points in this matchup. They're going to have to chuck the ball around, probably more than they have all year long. I think it's a great matchup for fantasy. Get Tom Brady out there. Get Ronald Jones in your lineup, too. He's not only been looking really good, but I think they're going to be, moving the ball up and down the field, launching the ball out there. You definitely may or not get, one or more deep pass interference calls on Mike Evans in this game, and might wind up on the 1 yard line there and running the ball in. So I love Aaron Jones here. And then, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, both of these guys finally locked and loaded. Get them both in your lineup. Let's see what happens with both of them. I understand with the way this offense is spread out and Tom Brady, how he does. They might not both, kill it this week, but got to have them both in there ready to rock. Outside of that, O.J. Howard's gone for the year, so, with the return of Godwin, that makes guys like Scotty Miller, Justin Watson, puts them off my radar just because you can't predict that, right? You don't know if it's going to be a Scotty Miller week with these two guys back. And then with O.J. Howard gone, Gronk does become a little bit more, attractive. He's been playing a little bit better, getting more targets. Cameron Brate is also out there as a touchdown dependent, but his touchdown dependency is a little bit higher, I think, than a lot of other tight ends, considering the fact that he's done it a lot in the past, not so much with Brady. But then you look at Brady and how much he loves to target the tight end, and you very easily see Cameron Brate scoring this week. Do you want to bet on it? Do you feel lucky? You want to bet that Cameron Brate's going to score a touchdown? I don't want to bet on it. I don't want to bet against it either, though. But I'm not going to play either one of them, Gronk or Brate, this week. Not in year long, but in DFS, I might throw a Brate out there for super cheap and put that money elsewhere. So, yeah. All right, let's keep it rolling here. We got the night games. 3 games left here. Yeah, we're making all right time. That's fine. All right, Sunday night, Los Angeles Rams traveling to San Fran to take on the 49ers. Divisional game. Big game here. So, we know Garoppolo got benched at the half last week. It was brutal. It was pretty bad. Hopefully they have a little time to, kind of recover, get their shit together this week. I want to like this game. 51.5 point over-under, Rams given 3. Let's talk about these Rams. Who you want to start? I think you do want to start Jared Goff. Yeah, I guess I didn't mention him. He's right up there in that streamer category for me, right with Cousins and at the top of that list there. I think they're going to need to throw the ball. San Fran is absolutely depleted on defense. They just lost Quan Alexander for this game again, their linebacker. So, yeah, they're hurting. And I think you're going to be able to throw the ball on them. I think you're going to need to, move the ball a little bit. And so I'm okay with playing Jared Goff in this game. He's looked all right. And he's got his weapons out there. He's going to need to throw the ball a little bit. I'm okay with playing Jared Goff in this game. I don't want to play any of the running backs. This is the same thing as Baltimore. We've been talking about this for 3 weeks now. I know Darrell Henderson got in the end zone twice last week. So if you played Henderson, believe me, you're more than happy. But you're looking at the numbers, you're looking at the splits, looking at the yards per carry, and you got to be sweating a little bit. You got to be worried to play Darrell Henderson again this week because Cam Akers came back and looked a lot better than Henderson last week, right? His yards per carry were better. He was hitting chunk runs left and right, and Henderson really wasn't. So it's not that Henderson isn't really good. It might not be good this week. It's that I can't predict who's going to have the carries, who's going to have the touchdowns from week to week. I think you're seeing you're seeing Malcolm Brown move further and further, into the background here. So I think it's going to be a Henderson-Akers backfield. And if and when one takes over, that'll be the guy to play. Until then, I'm not going to just guess which one to play. That being said, we know the running back situation out there. It's fucking brutal. So you very well, if you have Darrell Henderson on your lineup, it's very, very likely that you're playing him this week. So I get it. And then on the outside here, I'm playing both receivers, playing Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Again, if I think Goff is going to have a good game, I think, by extension, I'm pretty sure that both wide receivers should have a decent game, a playable game with maybe limited ceilings. But I think they'll both be more than fine. That's Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. And then the tight ends, man, it's hard because Gerald Everett had that good week last week, and Higbee's been kind of hard to trust. You don't know if you can. I totally get it. Higbee had that one giant week already, but outside of that, hasn't really done much in the other games. So I think it's about who you have. Do you want to give it to Everett? Is Everett going to be good this week? I don't know. He could be. Shit, man. What did Everett do? Sorry, y'all. We're going to do this together. That's how we always do it. I don't got everything in front of me. I don't have producers and people writing up pages and pages of stats. And I smoked too much weed to remember all this shit. All right, yeah. His first game with more than 2 targets last week. He just happened to catch all 4 for 90 yards. So a little bit inflated by how good he played. Had a 40-yard catch. So, just saying. I don't know who I would play. I wouldn't play Gerald Everett. That's not what I'm thinking about right now. The question is, would I trust Higbee this week to play him? And I think my answer is no. If you have someone else to play, I prefer you play someone else over Higbee this week, and just let that roll. So yeah, but you might have to play Higbee. I get it. Again, what do? You got these guys. There's only limited guys on the waiver wire. Tight end is a quagmire of bullshit on the waiver wire. So if Higbee's on your team, hey, you're probably playing him. I just don't love it. All right, let's talk about San Fran. Garoppolo, hell no. Not playing Garoppolo. I don't even know if he's going to finish the game, getting benched at the half. All that shit is just an easy no for me. Hell no. Raheem Mostert's got to be in your lineup. Doesn't matter about the volume. He does so much with his touches, his efficiency, his game-making ability, his playmaking ability. It's just crazy, man. The guy seems to do it almost every week. He should be healthy this week and ready to rock. Jared McKinnon, extremely disappointing last week. I understand that. But in PPR leagues, I still think McKinnon is playable this week. I'm not thrilled about it. But if you have McKinnon, I think that, you could still very well see those 5+ targets out of the backfield and, maybe 6 to 8 attempts, carries out of the backfield. And in this offense, that could be enough. And, the way running backs look, that could be enough. That's just the truth. I know it's ugly, but that's just how it is. Then on the outside, it's hard to trust anyone outside of George Kittle. He's been up and down also, but of course you're going to have Kittle in your lineup. There's no doubt about that. Debo had the 8 targets last week. Only caught 2. Didn't look great, but for a guy that we weren't sure if he's going to play, he's been having trouble getting on the field, to get 8 targets, I thought was a huge, spike in optimism for me for the outlook for Debo Samuel going forward. I'd be hesitant to play him this week, of course, but you could be missing the big week, right? This could be that week where he comes out and has a big week. I understand it might be against Jalen Ramsey, that it could be, who's shadowing him, but I don't know if that's going to be a thing. So we'll see. I don't have the highest hope for Debo. Just saying, you've been waiting all year, maybe got him on waiver wires, and 8 targets, man. That's all I'm saying. Could be his week. I don't want to bet on it, but could be it. And that's it. I'm not playing Ayuk. I'm not playing anybody else out there. So, yeah, it's Kittle or bust, basically, with Raheem Mostert. Let's go to Monday night. Let's knock these Monday night games out. Chiefs and Bills, 57.5 point over-under. I mean, the highest over-under of the week, most points. 2 defenses that aren't bad. I mean, Buffalo's supposed to be a very good defense, and Kansas City's a pretty good defense. But, yeah, they both just gave up 40+, and they're both playing really well on offense for the most part. So I see it, but shit, that's a lot of points, man. So, all right, let's talk about Kansas City. You know the news. Lev Bell is now a Chief. I don't think for this week it's going to be a thing, but oh yeah, next week we're going to be talking about it. So, let's see. Let's see about Sammy Watkins. That's the only thing that's going to keep us, because obviously you're playing, most of your Chiefs. You're playing Mahomes. You're going to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire, especially this week. We'll see what happens with Lev Bell, but don't worry too much. Play Edwards-Helaire this week. And, Tyreek Hill, you're playing. Travis Kelce, you're playing. Now, Sammy Watkins seems to be out. The question is, do you want to throw somebody else in there that's a Kansas City Chief? And if you do, who would it be? Would it be Mecole Hardman or would it be Demarcus Robinson? My answer is I probably don't want to do either of them. For me, the answer would be Mecole Hardman if you made me pick one. I believe Mecole Hardman has the biggest chance to be that guy that steps in and has a big week. But I don't think I can absolutely, say that's going to happen. Demarcus Robinson could come out and have 5 for 121 and 2 touchdowns. We've seen it happen before, and it could happen again. But I think Mecole Hardman has the clearer path to more targets and more playing time than Demarcus Robinson does. So he would be my guy. That being said, I can't trust him this week. I know high point total, great offense. If he's going to have 5 or 6, Patrick Mahomes targets, and it's hard to say you can't play him. I always say that about Sammy Watkins, right? If you're going to have 7+ Mahomes targets, it's hard not to play you. But when you have that playmaking ability, Mecole Hardman, I think I'm talking myself into it. I'm going to scratch that. Let's scratch that. Let's go ahead and put Mecole Hardman in as our flex. I think he is going to be the guy that gets the targets instead of Sammy Watkins, and I think that's going to make him very valuable. So let's go ahead and rock Mecole Hardman. Let's hope that follows through. We'll get back to you next week on that. For Buffalo, with this point total, you're playing Josh Allen. He's going to have to make plays. It could be one of those crazy games where you get a whole mix of the good, the bad, the ugly, but we'll see with Josh Allen. He's going to put up some numbers this game. He's going to have to. I think he's going to have to run the ball a little bit more than he has been. For running backs, I'm too scared to play Devin Singletary. I assume that a good amount of passing down work might be there, and that might be the thing that absolutely saves Singletary's day is, 5-6 receptions plus. And if he has that, then his day will be fine. But I'm not expecting a very good day on the ground. For Singletary, we have Zach Moss expected back in the game. So he's been another huge question mark. They were kind of splitting carries the first couple of weeks, and then Moss got hurt and disappeared. So we don't know what he's going to get either. So I don't want to play him or them. Stephon Diggs, absolutely in your lineup as a wide receiver 1. The guy's killing it every week. Targets are there. Production is there. Everything is there. So you're absolutely playing him. John Brown, yeah, I think that with this implied point total, that you can play John Brown easily as a wide receiver 3 or a flex with wide receiver 2 upside. And the same thing with Cole Beasley. I see no reason why you wouldn't play Cole Beasley. His target share has been pretty awesome, in my opinion. And a game like this, with, again, a very high expected, point total and a lot of offense, I don't know why you wouldn't play him. 7, 6, 7, 4, and 6. That's Beasley's targets. And, he's catching almost all of them. So, I don't see, if you're in a pinch, again, not saying Beasley's like a high ceiling. He's a high floor, low ceiling flex play at wide receiver. So if you're looking at him like that, I think he's a very, very good option. He could see 8+ targets in this game for sure. So yeah, I'm excited for that game. Obviously, I'm on the East Coast, so that game's a 5 o'clock start, and something tells me I'm going to have a pretty nice buzz for the late game. All right, let's talk about that late game. Arizona Cardinals traveling to the Dallas Cowboys. Take on the Cowboys there. Arizona 3-2, Cowboys 2-3. Listen, they just lost Dak Prescott. They got Andy Dalton coming in. They need to get something going here, right? The division is up for grabs, man. It's anyone's division. Everyone is terrible in there. And Dalton is, probably one of the better, if not the best, backup QBs in the league right now. For a team with all these weapons, they're at home. Let's hope they run the ball about 25 times with Zeke, slow this game down. That's what I expect. I'm not hoping that for fantasy. I'm hoping that for the Cowboys, right? I think they should run the ball 25 times with Zeke and slow this game down. But, all right, so you got Kyler Murray here. Yeah, is it over under or 55? Arizona's the favorite here, 1.5 points. I think you're playing Kyler Murray. He hasn't been playing great, but the rushing baseline is too high to ignore. So it just keeps bumping him up every single week where you could get, 30, 40, and sometimes you get 60, 70 plus rushing yards. So, that baseline is there. The connection with Hopkins is there, so you're playing him. I alluded to it earlier, the fucking Kenyon Drake, bullshit. With Chase Edmonds, it's tough every week right now. So let's look at rushing yards per game and see where these Cowboys rank. You can run on the Cowboys, man. 156 yards per game, 28th in the league out of 32. That's bad. They are bad against the run. They're not great against the pass either. But you can run on these Cowboys, man. Let's just, I think Chase Edmonds is playable because he's going to get some work. He's going to catch a few balls. This is the week for me for Drake. That's it. This is the last week he's in my starting lineup if I have a chance, unless he has a good week. And by good week, it's like a blow up, right? It's just about having a good overall week, man. You need 15 plus carries for over 4.5 yards per carry. You also need 3 or 4 targets at least with 2 or 3 receptions. Add 1 touchdown into that. So give me a 22, 25-point game, which is not some amazing game for a running back, and I'll feel better. Give me another 13-point game, and that's it. I think I'm going to cut the cord and call it a season for right now with you. So I don't say Cliff Kingsbury, let's get this shit going. You're paying him whatever it's called, man. The franchise tag. It's a decent amount of cheddar. I don't know what you're doing out there, but let's get him going this week. So yeah, and I think you can play Chase Edmonds too. Unfortunately, I wish you couldn't, but I think you can. So if you're in a real situation like I am at running back in a couple of my leagues, you're going to see Chase Edmonds out there in some starting lineups, not only as a flex, you're going to see him as an RB2 in some lineups. So that's for sure. DeAndre Hopkins, absolutely, you're playing D-Hop. That's no question. Bigger question is, who else can you play, if anybody else? We're starting to see Christian Kirk getting more involved again now after a sluggish start. Fitz still doing his thing. I think that you can play Christian Kirk here in a matchup with a high implied point total. I do think he's in line for a good 6, 7 plus targets, and hopefully gets into the end zone for you. Hopkins is going to have probably 10 plus targets again. We'll see what happens with them. I think they're going to be able to get their offense going a little bit in this game here. They're going to need to, and I think they will. So, yeah, I want to have some Cardinals out there. So, I'm playing Kyler, I'm playing Drake, playing D-Hop, and I'm playing Christian Kirk this week. And that last one's the one that might bite me, but we'll see. And then for Dallas, last team on the week here, Andy Dalton, I don't know if I have the balls to stream him this week. I get it. Weapons galore. Good system. Good quarterback, right? I mean, I get all those things. They're at home. I just got to wait a week. I got to wait a week. If I really need to stream a quarterback, again, like I said, the guys I like. I like Cousins this week. But, Dalton could put up pretty good numbers just in volume. But if I was Mike McCarthy and I was, running this offense, I'd be running Zeke Elliott 25 plus times in this game. So for that reason, I think Zeke is, a smash start. He is every week, but I think he's going to be a beast this week. Let's look at the outside here. So yeah, does everybody get a little bit of a step down? Sure, everyone gets a little bit of a bump down without the volume of Dak Prescott. But Amari Cooper is still going to need to be in your starting lineup. And CeeDee Lamb is still going to be very hard to keep out of your starting lineup as a flex, wide receiver 3 with better upside. We'll have to see what happens this week, but I think if you have Cooper and Lamb on your rosters, I think you play them this week. As much as it pains me to say it, I think you sit Michael Gallup for a week to see what happens. You might miss the big week, and yeah, I get it. That'll be more sickening than anything else if you've been waiting the whole fucking season, and then Michael Gallup finally has a good week, and you have him on the bench, but I'm not ready to say that those couple passes on that last drive are enough to convince me he's going to be a big part of the offense going forward, as he hasn't been so far. It's the same offensive line. That's still bad. Andy Dalton is not going to have any more time to throw the ball than Dak Prescott did. So there's no time for Gallup to get open deep, then he's not going to be a big part of the offensive game plan. So as much as I hate to say it, I think you want to have Gallup on your bench this week. But I do want to play Lamb and Cooper. And then Dalton Schultz, that's a hard one here. It's all about your tight end situation here, but I'm not expecting that much. We know Dalton has no problem throwing to the tight ends. Tyler Eifert, when he was healthy, had many good seasons and many good games. It's just, I don't know. I got to see what the offense looks like. I need to see this Dallas team once, at home in a decent matchup before I'm ready to play guys. So for that reason, I'm recommending you sit Dalton Schultz. It's all about what your options are. I know in one league right now, I've got Dalton Schultz and Hayden Hurst, and I am very, very much struggling with this decision. There's nobody on the waiver wires, man. I mean, believe me, nobody. There's nobody on the waiver wires. So yeah, I'm struggling, but I don't know if I'm going to play Schultz or not. But you do you. You do you. I'm just here to help. That's all. I'm just here to give a little bit of advice, some suggestions, and you take them or not. That's up to you. So that's it. That's our Monday night game. That's our whole slate. 14 games this week. 4 teams on a bye. So yeah, bye weeks are starting in earnest right now. We're going to have less and less games every week. Hopefully not losing games to COVID. But just keep in mind, you need to listen to what's going on tonight. Check again tomorrow morning, because if games get postponed, if games get canceled, you got to be right on it. You got to have guys you can grab, guys you can play. You got to be ready to rock. So that's the deal. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us again with the GOAT. If you're watching on YouTube, you know the deal. Click the bell, subscribe, like, and share. Listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts, anywhere you listen to them. You can find us. Just search for fantasy football and look down a little bit, and you'll probably find our emblem there. Of course, you can be more specific and just search for the GOAT Fantasy Football Podcast, and it should take you there. No problem at all. You can go back, listen to some archived episodes. I have no idea why you would do that shit, but maybe you want to check out some of the preseason episodes and see where my rankings were and hold me accountable. That's fine. But we're doing that every few weeks anyway on our Wednesday shows. So, all right, that's truly it. That's it for the week here. We'll be back on Monday with our reaction show from week 6. But hope you have a great weekend. Have a very safe one. Enjoy the game. Score lots of points. Get those guys in your lineup I told you to, and kick some ass. So for the GOAT, we'll see you next time.